Listen, we can kind of quickly rattle off the ones that we've talked a lot about, some of them for a couple of weeks. Why don't you fire some of those off, Sammy? Which ones do you want to hit that just to catch people up if they haven't been with us? Which ones are we very high on?
So I've got 5 props that I bet. Actually, 6 after entering Devontae Smith first touchdown yesterday. After Charch laid out a perfect reasoning for why Devontae has a big game. So I did bet a little Devontae at 17-1, first touchdown. It probably doesn't win. You know that, making a 17-1 bet, but I think there's a fair shot that he gets targets on that first drive. So my props that I made days ago, right? It's very funny. A lot of people will bet this game Saturday and Sunday. They'll come in and they'll bet everything. We've been betting this for what, 2 weeks now, putting bets in
Yep.
at different times. So I'm first quarter under 9.5, under on punts 6.5, under on Gray, both yards and catches. That's 12.5 and 1.5. He's the backup tight end for Kansas City. Goddard to score. MGM had plus 333. So those are all my props. And as we know, this is an Eagles show. Eagles plus 1.5. I bet that right as John Murray said on our show last Friday. When he said the Eagles are going to go off the favorite, I bet Philly right then and there, plus 1.5. But those are my props. It's not a lot. Under 9.5 first quarter, under 6.5 punts, Gray under yards and catches, Goddard to score.
What was the number on Devontae again? For first touchdown?
17-1 first touchdown.
Okay, so that's strong. I like that. Love the number. I'm kind of expecting a surprise first touchdown. We get that with Reed from time to time. That's a good one. So the one that I landed on for first touchdown is on the KC side, and something we talked about at the very end of the show. What do you think about Pacheco first touchdown at 18-1? Because we were looking that up during the show yesterday. Like, I think that's pretty good. If you have 17 on one side, 18 on the other, guys that we expect to be on the field. I mean, maybe the Pacheco one's a bit of a guess here, but Pacheco does get looks in the first quarter. Even though it's been a lot more Kareem Hunt, Pacheco is out there early on.
He's their best back. I just wonder, is he healthy? That's my only concern. I get it. I understand it. And obviously you're buying the dip, relatively speaking, on Pacheco. I mean, if Pacheco's healthy, say he doesn't get hurt this year early in the season, he's 7-1 first touchdown, right? I mean, he was their guy. So they move on from Edwards-Helaire a couple years ago and draft Pacheco. Granted, wasn't a first-round, second-round pick. He was late in the draft. He was their guy coming into the season. Week 1, game 1, he's their guy. If you believe he will be the guy, which is very possible, that's a good pop on Pacheco. I just don't know. I don't know if he's healthy. That's my only concern.
Yeah. He has not looked great. Like, that's why Kareem Hunt is the lead guy right now. He hasn't looked great. Holding out hope. A couple of weeks more of rest that maybe he looks much more like the older Pacheco. So plus 360. I do like that one for an anytime touchdown for Pacheco. Gave that at the end of the show yesterday. Ones that we've been talking about. Goddard receptions over 4.5. The juice is actually coming back a little bit. And did you see the yardage is coming down? So it was one of the most popular player props for a good week or so, and it popped all the way up to 51 in the hook. And now it's coming down to back to 49.5 where we open things. So it's not too late to bet Goddard at all. But my favorite Goddard prop, yours is the touchdown. Mine is the receptions at over 4.5. Jalen Hurts over 8.5 rushing attempts. And you look at the big games, Super Bowls, conference title ones, and how many opportunities he gets. You include the tush push. I expect Hurts to have at least 9. And a lot of books have already gone to 9.5, but obviously looking for the 8.5. It's a little bit juiced. Hurts is going to score a touchdown. The price is still very fair. I've seen minus 110 all week. Now the cheapest price is minus 115. I still think that's a pretty good look. And then the ones that I'm close to that I'm thinking about at longer shots. So Patrick Everson, one of his favorite is always the octopus. He said he bets it every year on the show yesterday. And you look around, you'll see 14-1, 15-1. Horvey said that he found, and I got to see where he found this. Horvey said he found Hertz octopus at 20. I mean, he is the most likely guy to go touchdown and then the ensuing 2-point conversion. At 20-1, that's a pretty good number instead of, just grabbing 14 or 15. So I was considering that. And then I also, Joe Fortenbaugh said the number was knocked down, but I did find a book that is still offering first sack of the game, McDuffie at 50-1.
I couldn't find that. I looked everywhere yesterday for that. You found it on McDuffie?
Yeah. Yes, I found one. You'll probably have to make a call to have somebody place that wager. But did you see, could you not find first sack, or they weren't listing him?
I couldn't find him. I couldn't find any of it, to be honest. So you got to
They were
dive a
calling
little
it
bit deeper.
fastest. They were calling it
Okay.
fastest sack from where I saw it.
Well, Joe
So, yeah.
definitely destroyed the market where he bet it. I had a guy text me yesterday. He's like, I love that bet, but that price is long gone. I said, well, that's what Joey does. Joey finds these stale numbers and he picks them off and the market recalibrates. I'm glad he got a good number. It's a hell of a bet. Joe's very good at finding things that are reasonable at great prices. I mean, when he talked about it yesterday, I went, yeah, that makes sense. And then I logged in and couldn't find it anywhere. So good for him.
Yeah.
Back to the first touchdown for a second. Our sponsor, BetMGM, does a really cool deal. It's that first touchdown bet, but you get your money back if somebody scores second. Okay. So I don't think you could go wrong either way. Barkley is 4-1 first touchdown. Hertz is plus 650. I like the Hertz number, to be perfectly honest. I think that's a good number at plus 650, 13-2. He gets 2 cracks. If you bet it at MGM, at least, if he scores first, you win. If he scores second, you get your money back. I think that's a great promotion, by the way, because you get 2 cracks at it. Would you rather bet Barkley or Hertz, given that promotion?
Probably go Barkley.
Okay.
Honestly.
So he's 4-1 first touchdown, which I don't love. I don't love 4-1. I mean, usually the best players 5-1, 550, usually in a given NFL game.
Yeah.
400's
Yep.
very bad price-wise, but
It
it's
is
Saquon Barkley, so it makes sense. All I'm saying is I don't think you have a bad bet either way. If you go Barkley or Hertz at MGM, you get the first crack and you win. But if one of those guys scores second, you get your money back. I think either one of them is a decent bet, given the fact that you get 2 opportunities to get in the end zone.
That's Sammy P. I'm Joe O. You've got Bet Sweats weekdays, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern on the BetMGM network. The big game finally here, Sam. Big game boost pack. You can grab it, and you'll have 3 ways to boost your odds on any big game bet. The boost pack contains an odds boost token, an SGP boost token, and a live odds boost token. Activate one of your boost tokens for any big game bet, and you'll receive a bigger payout if your bet wins. Get ready for kickoff with the sportsbook born in Vegas. Do you plan on adding any unders or any no's this weekend?
So I'm glad you brought that up because I was looking at some of the no's. No safety, no overtime, no octopus. They're relatively cheap compared to where they've been in years past. Obviously, we've seen a handful of safeties last 10 years. We've seen a few overtime games. We saw the octopus 2 years ago with Jalen Hurts in this matchup 2 years ago. All of those yes prices are nowhere near as good as they used to be. I remember overtime being 13, 14-1. Forget it. The octopus was 18-1. Safety was 20-1 10 years ago. So all of these yes prices have come down, but if you find the right book that gives you yes and no, one would argue that the no's are very cheap compared to where they used to be. I don't think you're going to see a safety or an octopus or overtime. That's not exactly a hot take. I mean, the no's are heavy favorites, but the no's are much cheaper this year than I've ever seen those 3 props.
Yeah, so I think the challenge for your average bettor is not being able to identify that. Like, what is What is no cheap? What is it normally? What is the favorite? Obviously, it's a big favorite on no for a lot of these events, especially something that's only happened in a couple of Super Bowls all time. But so what stands out as far as that goes? Like, is there a specific price that really jumps up like, whoa, this is not what it used to be? I get why it's come down, and I'm sure there's a ton of liability on the other side, but this is something that's cheap.
I saw minus 5,000 no on Octopus. Problem
Okay.
is, people don't want to
Yeah.
lay that. And I'm
And
not
you
going
want
to
to make a
sit
lot of
here.
bets. Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here on our show and tell people to go bet the no on the Octopus, because that's kind of silly. But trust
Mm-hmm.
me, there are people that I know and you know that are betting the no on that. I don't want to sit here and tell people, hey, lay 5,000 and win 100. But there are people we know that are doing that.
The glass man is not going to do no on overtime. I'll tell you that. I got to find out, does he have a yes on overtime? That is his favorite NFL bet.
He
He
does.
bets it very often. He does. He bet it. Did he mention that?
Yep.